Ndị be anyị ndewonu. Ọ bụ Ada Igbo na-ekwu na Igbo Media. N'Igbo Media, anyị na-ewetara unu ọtụtụ ozi gbasara ihe na-emegasị na Biafra Land, n'ala Igbo na mba ndị ọzọ. N'ụbọchị nke taata, o nwere ihe bịara n'iru akwụkwọ anyị nke anyị ga-agụpụtara unu n'ụbọchị taa. Anyị gụpụtachaa ya, unu egee ya ka ọha n'uju. Ị ga-esie ya, ị drọpụọla your comment, like kwa this our video and gbasakwa ya ka o ruo ụmụnna anyị n'ebe dị iche iche arụ. Ozi a wetara unu tata si n'aka otu nwanne anyị nwoke, a Biafra activist. Dịka o si dozie ya n'iru akwụkwọ, ọ dere si: Breaking news: Simon Ekpa'S appeal in court shock Nigerian government. Finland, CDS Musa in panic. Biafrans celebrate. Ya bụ ozi ka anyị ji bịa tata na Igbo Media. Ị ga-esi ya bụ ozi, gbaa mbọ gwa anyị iche ma mekwa ka ozi arụtụ ụmụnne anyị nọ ebe dị iche iche aka. Ngwa gere ya ka ọha n'uju.
Within my camp, we are very much happy, indeed very excited to know that our own able Prime Minister Simon Ekpa is in the news again for positive things. Yeah, those who thought, his conviction in Finland, those who thought giving him 6 years has knocked him off balance, have ensured, a zip up of his mouth, or zip up of his ministry, or zip up of his protest, or a zip up of his support for Biafra and the United States of Biafra are highly mistaken. Because, of course, there's a big news. There's a big news, ladies and gentlemen, and I thought it wise to bring it to your, knowledge early enough. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's a big news surrounding our own able, indefatigable, cerebral, strong-willed, and fearless warrior, Simon Ekpa. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the good news? Yes, September 1st, first of all, was the sad news. The sad news that the Finnish authorities, had convicted Simon Ekpa of 6 years imprisonment. Of course, they said he was guilty of terrorism charges. He was guilty of inciting terrorism. He had a whole lot of things to do with manipulating, the tax systems. And of course, he and the lawyers had a whole lot of issues. Finally, it climaxed into his being convicted on those charges and sent to 6 years imprisonment. Yes, that is what happened on the 1st of September 2025. And ever since then, everybody has been in a melancholic mood. Everybody has been saddened. Most Biafrans are walking like, they are not too excited. They're not too happy. And of course, we were almost deflated. Yes, we were deflated. But I have breaking news today. The breaking news is Simon Ekpa's loyalists. Simon Ekpa's loyalists have come up to say, look, it shouldn't just go that way. We must rally around vigorously. We must show our loyalty. We must stand beside our kith and kin. We must do everything it takes, no matter whose ox is God. We must make sure that Simon Ekpa receives justice, equity, and fairness in his trial, because we know what the Finnish authorities did was completely out of, fairness, equity, and justice. What we know they did was that they just listened to the Nigerian authorities. They were guided, if you like, misguided. They were deliberately misinformed. If you like, they were settled to be misinformed, and they worked using the wrong informations that had filtered from the Nigerian dimension. I mean, we know what, of course, the Jagaban can do. A man who said, even before an election in February 2023, a man who came out to say, it is my turn. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this was an election that has not taken place, election that was yet, to be fully inaugurated, election that was yet to see the light of day, and somebody comes out pounding his chest, screaming and bellowing like King Kong saying, "It is my turn, Emilio turn, Emilio Kong, it is my turn." Ladies and gentlemen, with such verbosity, with such pomposity, with such alacrity, the Jagaban announced his entry into the presidential election. It wasn't surprising, ladies and gentlemen, that that election of February 23rd, February 2023, that election came out, and all we heard was the Jagaban had won, and he was eventually sworn in as the president, de facto president of Nigeria. So a man who comes and tells you, even before an election, that it is my turn, Emilio Khan, and he gets around to achieve it, you can imagine what he's capable of doing. And so we're not surprised all the time when Alexander Stubbs, the president of Finland, was hobnobbing with Nigeria's deputy president, Laji Shetima. We were not surprised whenever that time Finnish, you know, um, international representatives, especially those of them who is in the international relations aspect, were hobnobbing with Yusuf Tuga, Nigeria's ambassador, Nigeria's foreign affairs minister. They were hobnobbing with Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, Nigeria's minister for external affairs, you know, the minister for state for external affairs. We saw a whole lot of movements, continuous persistent movement, intermingling, yes, intertwining and integrations, between Nigeria and Finland. And of course, we were not surprised when on the 1st of September, it was a conviction galore for our own Simon Ekpa. Yes, everybody was aware. Even the deaf knew. Even the blind could see that a lot had happened under the bridge. There was a concerted effort by the Nigerian authorities. And when Emilio came and said, yes, this man, this little boy, Simon Ekpa, he thinks he's smart. He thinks he can talk to me anyhow. Does he know who I am? Has he not heard my stories? Who is Simon Ekpa? Or he thinks because he's in Finland, he can denigrate my country. Does he want to stay? Does he know the kind of foot he's trying to step on? How dare he touch the tiger by the tail? That was what Ebuka said. When he said it, a lot of people thought, people just felt, but this man, you don't know Finland is not Nigeria. You don't know you can't bribe people in Finland. You don't know you can't promise anything in Finland. You can't buy them mansions anywhere. Those people are people who operate under strict guidance, under the strict guidance of the rule of law. There's no opportunity for manipulations. So, Mr. President, you better calm down and let the course of the law take its turn. But of course, Emilio could not be undone. Emilio said, look, I am the Jagaban. What I say is law and final. I have said it, that Simon Ekpa must pay. And when he's fully arrested there, when he serves his sentence, he's going to come to Nigeria. We'll make sure he's extradited to Nigeria and we'll give him a double portion. We're going to give him a double portion. I assure you that. I have said it. If I didn't say, then my name is not Emilio Khan. I'm the man who said, it is my turn. And everything I say comes to be. Haven't you heard my records? Don't you know who I am? Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Biafrans, we thought it was all a joke. We thought this man was clowning himself. But of course, come 1st September 2025, indeed, we saw that Alexander Stubbs, Finland, had kowtowed. Yeah, they had bowed to the Jagaban. Finland had bowed to the Jagaban. Finland had convicted Simon Ekpa against internationally recognized practices of law, against international stipulated trials in matters of this nature. Finland condemned and convicted Simon Ekpa. Because, of course, the Jagaban had told them they must do it. Because, of course, the Jagaban had told Alexander Stubbs, the president of Finland, you must do it. And, of course, when Jagaban tells you something, of course, you know a whole lot of goodies, a whole lot of fantastic promises, which, of course, will involve a very big wallet. So the wallet spoke, and of course, Simon Ekpa was convicted and put the whole Biafrans, the whole house of Biafra were put in a melancholic mood. But ladies and gentlemen, rather than derail us, rather than befuddle us, rather than, demotivate the Biafran spirit, one of the first things that our able, sagacious leader, fearless warrior, Simon Ekpa did was to send a message. He sent a message to Biafrans. He sent a message to the USB, the United States of Biafra, and he said, don't weep for me, Biafrans. Don't weep for me. No, this struggle is not over. It is not over until it's over. Don't shed your tears for me. Don't cry for me, Biafra. I will come out of this bound.
Ngwanụ daalụ niile nụ ụmụnne m dịka unu si na-esoro anyị n'Igbo Media. Gịnị ka unu nwere ikwu na nkọwa nke unu gbasara maka ihe unu nọ n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa? Gwa anyị ife iche n'ụdị nke gị, deela ya n'akara kọmentị ka mara ihe i chere, ma chetakwa tụsa ya bụ ozi ka o werete ụmụnne anyị ndị ọzọ ntị. Ndewo na ụmụnne m, ka emesịanụ.